So if you were to pull back, keep your shoulder high, keep close to the table. Notice you're still a long way from the table, so try and keep forward over your arm. Imagine. So we tend to end up in other positions as we get sort of more confident, but early on you'd like, it's, if you can keep on top of your arm a little bit, sort of vertical, it's a good habit to have that. It's a good general position. It's not the ultimate position. You can win competitions in that position, but it's like any position. If you were to entirely isolate this position, then your biceps doing a lot of the work as far as defense is concerned.
I think my bicep is probably the weakest part of my chain, just because I never really. Apart from climbing, that was
okay.
the only thing.
So I don't tend to isolate the bicep as much. I tend to kind of isolate the pronator as a defense mechanism. I have no choice because I've got short arms. So basically, if someone's top rolling me, I tend to kind of pull out in this direction.
Yeah.
It's kind of like almost I'm pushing out in this direction rather than pushing. And admittedly, pulling is a safer thing. But I'm pulling. I suppose that is pulling, but I feel it's almost more like I'm doing a hammer curl. To defend, and I've not got a strong hammer curl. It's not as big a problem as you think. On the table, I'm more effective than I am on weights, because with weights my wrist collapses. It just goes. But on the table, because the other guy's holding there, often you'll find that it doesn't matter if my wrist collapses. In fact, if my wrist collapses, I've actually got an angle to. So the fact is that a lot of the training that's really healthy for arm wrestling, it's great for the attack, not necessarily good for the defence. So I'm more of a defensive arm wrestler. Just like anyone, I'd like to improve my attack. In the recent sit-down competition, I was trying to react to the other guy's start, and so that I could attack off of it. So, but that's still defensive. That's the most attacking I've been in a long time. The most attacking you can be is the high techniques, the high hook and the high top roll, where you basically straight down or straight sideways. And the only trouble with that is if you miss time to go, then you open your own arm up, and then it's like, oh shit, I'm going to get back to catch it. So it's not necessarily good if you're defending yourself. So I'd rather prioritise defence, safety, and admittedly my King's move isn't very safe, but I would say it's not as dodgy as people think it is. It looks dangerous when people see me doing it. But the fact is that I've got the other guy's hand that I'm controlling. So if the fact is that it's very unlikely to go. If he's strong enough to open that arm, then it's like a minor overload in weightlifting for me. It's like it's the only thing that's a little bit dodgy sometimes is if the other guy presses out. Tricep presses me in that position, because I'm not very flexible. So obviously my hand doesn't actually touch the pad in that position. So he's having to go past my bone line. So for that I almost have to kind of let him go sometimes. So it's sort of I don't know if in a competition I think I haven't got the mentality to push myself that far, because in a competition I didn't do it. So you get some lunatics out there who will happily they'll think, break my arm, go ahead, but I don't know about the mentality, because I value my ability to use my arms too much.
I'm doing this in competition might be fun if I turn up.
It wouldn't be much fun if you get injured, so it's better to go into a competition to enjoy it.
And if it's so close that I feel that, I'll be happy with just being close.
Yeah, I like getting beaten if it's a good fight, and actually, so I don't want to lose every match, but the fact is that if you get squarely beaten by a guy who's bested you on certain angles, then great, it's fine. There's some competitions where I've got very close to winning, and then I've looked at the videos and thought well, the ref should have called it, you know, but that's life, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've literally had matches where I've been like this, and it's been on the parallel. That's called the parallel.
Yeah.
And that would be considered a win by many refs, you know. And yet the ref didn't call it, and of course I put everything into it, so then the other guy starts fighting back, and it's like, oh, well, I've got nothing left, you know. So usually the guy with the longer arm, if he was to get me into a hook out of that, in other words, if he digs himself out, it's very difficult after I've expended so much energy for me to then hold on, you know. So because I would have used everything to get my wrist, you know. So I've got plans. I mean, my plans this November for winning the national pro competition is something that I've had to. I knew I'd have to do. I'm having to become stronger than my opponents. Usually in arm wrestling, it's not necessarily a given. If you're normal height, it could go either way. Whereas with me, whether I like it or not, I'm going to have to outgun him, because the fact is that I don't have the optimum arm length, you know. So a lot of people think shorter lever isn't that a good thing. Yeah, you can get him into your side, but often I'm not on my side. Even when I'm getting him onto this way, my arm's being opened up by him. So a lot of the time the other guy is really tight up. I'm trying to, I'd like to get him in here, but I'm having to try and get him here, way out of my comfort zone. So it looks like, oh, I'm running out of power. Yeah, but I'm literally trying to pull a weight out here, you know, so it's sort of, it's something I'm working on to be able to pull heavy weights from a non-optimal position, you know. So it's like if I was to do my lifting's not good, because actually I'm so careful with my technique, you know. I'm really optimal with my shoulder position, my arm, my prep's always perfect. I always do the right technique. And in arm wrestling, you're having to learn how to go outside your technique and then bring it back into your position. So it's sort of it's a very different thing to lifting, you know. I mean, I'm not going to set up my weights beyond optimum, because I don't want to injure myself.
There's no point.
No, I mean, but on the arm wrestling table, I don't know. Tight setup. So you get into the habit of dictating the position and your hand, and a strong hand. So personally, if it was me and I wanted to top roll, I would always cover the thumb, because then I've got somewhere to go over my own thumb. Me, either way, I'm still going to be trying to control the other guy's hand. But if I'm not covering my thumb, I'm going to push my own hand down. You know, which is all right if I'm trying to defend my calf, actually. But quite frankly, I'd rather be able to top roll the other guy. It's not often I'll get to do a nice clean hook on the other guy, because I've got a very low arm, you know. So usually I'm going into the other guy's bone if he's posting on me. So if you post up, it's very difficult for me to hook into that. So unless I was to rotate up, so that's a pronating action in order to get the arm. So a lot of guys, actually, in all fairness, a lot of guys don't need to rotate up. A lot of guys, they have some movement there. You've got more flexibility in that direction. I can't put my wrist up over. But that one won't go up at all. That one goes up maybe 5 millimeters, 6 millimeters. So that is not going to get me a long way over. Whereas you can actually use it if you were to do weights like that. You can actually use it just to gain a little bit in order to get back. Me, to do the same thing, basically I have to supinate up in order to get over. Or I could try and pronate, but the fact is that if I'm pronating, that looks great and I'm taking you there, but if I'm not taking the other guy, then if he's strong enough to stop that, then I'm going to end up opening up my own arm. So these are some very strong guys that we have to go against. You know? So things that would beat every guy in the pub wouldn't necessarily beat the guy in front of you. You could go really proud, really confident into competition, and then feel like, oh, I never really connected, because the other guy's so proficient, even though he's not necessarily stronger. He knows how to stop you from getting into that position.
Okay, that's interesting. So I have a question about kind of leverage. Because everyone says longer levers is better. But then
Yeah, it means you
if you
can.
get higher on a person, that's worse for them, even though they're longer. Okay, I guess I'm good.
It's not the same question. So basically, a long lever allows you to accommodate more moves. We're closer to the the middle of the table. So basically, it allows you to apply power in more places.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Okay.
So anything beyond that is then the fine details. So yeah, I mean basically, a longer lever doesn't mean a higher hand. Okay, in fact, a shorter arm, it's easier to get a high hand. You know, because I'm already above your hand then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, don't confuse the two. Okay. High hand is not the same thing as having a long arm, and it's just who can activate that part of the hand and to stop the opponent. You know. So I mean, there's ways of getting a high hand on your start. You can what's the word? You can oppose your thumb deliberately, but the trouble is, it's fine in practice, but in a competition they have to see you at both knuckles.
Oh, so it's these knuckles.
Yeah, so you can't really, unless you've got the world's longest thumb, it's very difficult to start in a fully opposed position. Now, the good thing is that if you were to have an opposed position, you've got a protected cup, so you can put a lot of power sideways, and so there's an advantage to it. But one thing you can do is off the go, try and control him, and then regain, sort of bury your thumb.
Okay.
You know, it's not the same as what I do, which is push forwards through the other guy's hand. So it looks the same on the camera. It's not the same thing at all. So it's something hard to. It's easy to explain when I'm holding hands. So basically, what I would usually do is I'm bringing this forwards and leaving my thumb behind.
Okay.
And that's basically securing my cup and then it's getting you through that. But there's an attacking thumb position that I do, which a lot of people don't do, which is where I turn through the base of the other guy's thumb. So I'm turning through there, and this is stationary. So it achieves the same thing. It's protecting my cup, but it's sort of a very different way of doing it. So if you were to leave your thumb behind, then you're getting your cup, you're getting your pronation, beautiful. If you're forcing the issue like me, it gets the same goal.
Okay.
They've got their own advantages. If you've got a strong enough thumb to do that, like John does, he does the same thing as me. So he, in doing so, he's actually getting further forwards and still maintaining a high hand. So it's like you're able to come forwards, and then you've got options. You can either hook into it, or you're dictating the other guy's hand position. It's also great if the other guy wants to then top roll onto you. You're holding his thumb, and it's very difficult for him to top roll you in a dragging position. So this is the dragging direction for you, and it's very difficult to do that if I'm literally holding your thumb. But it's not something that a lot of people like to do. Guys like Michael Todd like to do that sort of thing. He'll sort of he'll use his cupping power and his pronator to try and control the other guy from gaining the advantage.
So what is cupping?
That's cupping.
Okay. So just doing
No,
space,
it's not about moving your fingers. It's about closing the angle between the top of your hand and the power of your forearm.
So that. Okay.
No, that's a hook.
Okay.
That's a hook. You can do a hook in pronate. You can pronate or supinate into a hook. No, cupping is about making a connection.
Okay.
And it's imagine you're rock climbing and you're literally holding onto a rock on your crimp. And what you do in order to do that, you don't leave your hand loose. You actually have to make a connection somewhere through your wrist, a mental connection. As to which part of your forearm and your shoulder and everything is connected.
Okay.
So it's a natural, cupping power is an actual connection between here and here.
Okay. Okay. I'll try and think about it like trying to climb your hand up as in it.
Yeah, I mean, if you get opened out and you've still got decent cut, so the guys out there, but you've still got decent cut, I can use my finger pressure to push through your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, it's just trying to keep this, because if I lose that, that's no good.
Yeah.
You know, so it may look like I'm leading with the fingertips, and absolutely I am. That's where the javelin's leading. But so the spearhead's there. But in order to achieve that, you're pulling through these tendons here.
Yeah.
So if you're not pulling through there, you're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's all about partial moves rather than full moves.
Okay.
You can put a lot of power generally in arm wrestling through partial moves, and you can use your body to complete the moves. Yeah, to complete the move, to use the combination of angles and you know, if you put a little there, little there, little there, it adds up to a lot of movement. If I do a little bit of movement sideways, you know, even on the pad, I don't have to use the whole pad. That movement could equate to a pin, you know, so it depends on what you're doing with your own arm. Just keeping everything tight and everything moves together. You know. So, okay, great. So set up tight, set up high up, and you're going to try and make a nice shape over to the pad, okay? Good. A lot better than last time. You're pushing sideways there, okay? Yeah. And push through there. Okay. Roll. Okay. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep rolling. Nice, that's better. So roll. Come back. Fine, I'll have to keep pressure there, go. Nice. Yep, so if I pronate out, there go. Yep. Nice, that's great. That's 100% better than last time. Yeah, I don't know if I want to really defend against it, to be honest. If I give you some exercise. Because to me, it's really hurting for me to defend against that. Okay. It's the one thing I've really hurt.
We could go. Do you mind if we go a bit weaker and I can just play around with moving my hands and just see?
You want to do what you want, yeah. Well, what do you mean weaker?
As in, like, I won't push so hard, but I'm just going to kind of play around.
So I'm allowed to hold?
Yeah, you can do it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I just
go ahead.
Like a 20% straight.
If anyone heard that, he said I can do what I want. Go for it, yeah.
I just want to, I don't know, play around with some of the concepts I've been trying to
nice.
see how things feel. Yeah. That does not help me.
Yeah, nice.
Feels good. The problem is you've got very strong hands. I feel there's not much I can do.
So, I hope.
Yeah.
If you keep the pronator on, I can't hook into you.
Okay. So
it's actually a static thing. Look at someone like Ryan Bowen. You know, he's a great guy who he's actually getting ridiculously strong, but he's come up through his method has been to always go for opponents that are stronger than himself.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's losing a lot, but the fact is it's very different, deliberate from him. He wants to get to the top, so it's a good way of doing it. But he's used to setting up on the post. You know, so you get used to setting up on the post. If you set up on the post, it'll be very difficult for me to hook into it.
The post is.
He's holding your whole body weight back on. What should I do? This is setting up on the post.
Okay, and if we both do that, it's.
So arm, elbow forwards. And now if you were to hook into that, well, it's very difficult for you to hook into it.
Yeah.
But if you were to do that, it makes it harder for me. What's happening is instead of running out of options, instead of hooking low, I'm having to hook higher and higher and higher. Okay. You know, which means I'm ending up hooking in this direction.
So is there much reason to, I mean, everyone says you want to move your hand that way, but I noticed a few times I felt like that was a trap, and then
you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So
if you want to do a dragging top roll, you can force the issue by literally moving your wrist out and then coming round. but that's not, again, it's not wrist strength.
Yeah.
The ability to keep your wrist there is wrist strength.
Okay.
So you could argue that rather than doing this in the gym,
Yeah.
it's better to actually keep a wrist like this and maybe static.
Okay, static.
So that it's the ability to pull weight through a bent wrist.
Mm.
Not everyone has it, you know. I can't get my wrist into a fully bent position because the other guy's up there. So I can't get into the position where I'm doing a fully dragging top roll. I could try it, but more often than not, he's going pronating. So I run out of room. So you've got a little bit more room to get some wrist action. And the only trouble is, the mistake you can make is going so far out that you take my hand early, and then it's like, how, you know, what do you do with it? So
Is that just where straps come into it? Or
only when you slip.
Okay, but I mean, if you're kind of in a weird position like that, I mean, I imagine. Oh, I guess.
Well, you've got options. So I mean, I would do literally a flop press, you know.
Okay.
But it's not good for the arm, flop press, but it's effective. Admittedly, you can pull enough power to. You put a lot of power. There was a guy the only guy I injured, not happy to have done it, but it wasn't deliberate. His arm came away, but the point, it just you know, the connection between the bicep and the tendon.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can see it was a tendon because his bicep came up. Yeah. But it was horrible because it went loose, you know.
Yeah.
At least it didn't make a snapping noise like bone breaks. Those are the worst. But the point is that I was doing a flop. I wasn't even a flop test. I was pulling. He'd taken me.
Okay.
And I was pulling back here. And his arm, yeah. So it's not necessarily.
Is that so much a technique thing, or is that just a risk that you take when you're playing?
Well, I think that it might have been a genetic weakness he had. He maybe hadn't had to do that before.
Because I know you're more likely to rip things in the eccentric when muscles are stretched.
Depends on what. I mean, that's not necessarily true. I would say I'm more likely to get injured when I'm closed up because I'm applying the muscle, and I've got very strong tendons. So potentially, if the muscles are all tight and the tendons are strong enough that I can literally rip my own muscle, you know. Whereas fully extended, I'm used to these isometric.
Okay, because I always heard that if you're doing curls, if it would be like down there, then you're probably going to do something other than.
Yeah, it is in a normal world. But arm wrestling, we get used to doing a lot of motion out here. So, you know, we're getting used to applying a lot of power through just the end of our arm.
Yeah.
It's very rare that I can close up here. You know, I'm not long enough. I physically can't. You know, I can't put my hand any higher than that. You can almost touch your shoulder. You know, so it's like, you know, the fact is I'm always going to be opened up. So I might sort of train to be able to move the other guy from a slightly open position. Yeah. So it's it's weird.
I noticed last week there was a point where I had my feet up, trying to use all my body weight, and it wasn't enough. Am I doing something wrong there, or is that?
You can use your body weight. So a good way I would do it is I would get the right leg up. If you look down on the table.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then so then.
Yeah, and you can.
But again, I'm not using all my body weight.
Yeah.
How often do I use my whole body weight? The only time people seem to use a lot of body weight is when they're doing a dragging top roll and they're dropping. In which case can they hold their own arm?
I mean, I think I was in a position where I kind of went into this, and I had my feet up to try and give some leverage.
Yeah, but then you're having to hold your own body weight. It's like all the other guy needs to do is that, and then you know you're over your limit.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing being able to do calisthenics, but the other guy's pulling as well. So it's like it's the old cliche, you know, a car crash where it's the sum total of both speeds.
Well, it isn't.
Well, it is. If you have a 20-mile-per-hour car hitting a 20-mile-per-hour car, the amount of kinetic energy going into both cars is the same. It's basically 40 miles per hour of energy.
Except it's. I mean, it from a car's perspective, if it hits and stops, that's the same as hitting a ball. If it hits a truck that's moving and then it's moving back, So
I know that's
20
inertial
to 11.
additions to the equation. Yeah, if you have the inertia to figure in as well. But I'm just talking about the basics. You have two balls of the same size.
Yeah.
If I have two marbles of the same size, then yes, I appreciate the fact that if you have a very big marble hitting a very small marble, it's
Yeah.
different. But that's because inertial. The inertial space actually the energy output is different anyway, isn't it?
I mean, if you have two identical cars hitting each other, you'll assume that they will both meet in the middle. So it's effectively hitting kind of an immovable.
No, because it's the energy is transferred both ways.
I don't know if it is.
It is.
I mean, like,
It's transferred, so it's then lost as heat, sound, movement through the fabric of the car. The energy is always maintained.
yeah.
Energy
in the
can't be.
system.
It's just the basic conservation of
But,
energy.
if you had, let's say, you couldn't see this, and you had a car crashing into a thing, and one was an identical car coming at the same speed, and one was an immovable wall that didn't give.
They're not the same thing. Different sum.
No, I mean,
Because
it
inertial
would be
physics adds more. It literally adds more energy into the equation. So it's not quite. Actually, there's less energy in a collision between a car hitting a. I could drive my car into a brick wall and there'll be less energy involved than if I hit another car coming in this direction. The reason why the damage isn't always as bad is because some of that energy is lost into the other car, and
Yeah.
it can move.
I mean, I don't know.
It can deform.
I think from a
Imagine both cars are rocks and
Yes.
they can't deform at all.
yeah.
Then much less of it is converted into the frame of the building, and the energy is converted only into direct movement through the whole body, which is very damaging to the person in the car, and into sound and heat. So that's more efficient, but because it's more efficient, you get more stress on the person inside the car. So we have cars with crumple zones, so that a lot of the energy is given to deforming the car. So,
Yeah.
so it's not the same as if you hit a brick wall, and actually it's more damaging, but that's counterintuitive because the energy involved is actually less. So I could kill myself driving into a wall with less energy because the wall isn't deforming. I could have more energy in the sum total of energy going into two cars colliding, and both guys can walk away alive
Surely if
because
you-
of deformation.
If you have the identical cars crashing, it's from each car's perspective. It's as if
No,
they've
because
hit
they're
a
not
brick wall.
stationary. They're hitting they're deforming objects.
But, if,
the energy is transferred into a myriad of different
If it's-
objects throughout the car.
If it's symmetrical, then surely.
It's not symmetrical.
I mean,
It's not. Symmetry is broken as soon as they hit each other because the energy is transferred into deformation of the frame in the
I mean,
car.
but if they have symmetrical deformation,
Yeah, the only way you can do that is if they're not deforming. So if they're literally a stone with a guy in the cockpit in the stone, then there would be probably all the energy would be transferred into the person and he'd become pulp. So yeah, it's just.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is that helpful?
I mean, I'm not sure I agree, but
It's not. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. I'm not talking
yeah,
about.
I mean, I thought mine was a fact.
No. It's you have to in differential maths. You have to take into account every eventuality and every place that energy is lost, and there's maybe 1,000 different things that are losing energy in a collision, and so happens that the simpler the object, the fewer ways the energy is lost and transferred. So in other words, it's the most deforming object in the group that actually gets the most damage. In which case, it would be the person in the car.
Yeah.
That's why we have crumple zones, because of that. Anyway, okay, so let's do what I'm going to do. So, rather than me just bully you with my hand, I'm just going to let's find ways that you can get out of that. So,
Okay.
So, you're not going to beat my wrist down there,
Yeah.
because I've got my cup.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm doing is pulling down. So, you're going to try and break through there. You're going to try and break above that point there. You're going to try and go into that position here, so that any pressure is putting you need to go to this whole area is movable. Yeah.
Okay,
So simply place your fingers a little higher.
yeah.
That way you can also engage an angle to open up my wrist.
Okay.
Yeah. So it might be difficult, but it's a lot more effective than going down there.
Yeah.
Now, if you're down there, it's not a problem if you can get around my wrist in a hook. But you've not been hooking it,
Yeah.
so
No.
I mean, you might be really good at hooking, but you've not tried it once.
Okay.
You could try and hook. I mean, if I'm hooking, basically it's like this, and like that.
Yeah.
So that you see, I'm pulling up.
Oh, so
You need
if we
to
both hook.
hook.
Okay, so it's not.
No, imagine
It's
imagine
just
imagine you're wringing water out of a towel that you're holding in your hand.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So hook. Yeah, but that's pronating again. So
Oh.
Oh,
Hang on.
hooking doesn't pronate at all.
Oh, so it's just
It's
twisting
entirely free of it. Yeah,
that way.
yeah.
That's it.
And leading with the fingers.
Okay.
Leading fingers. It's a combination of that and that.
Okay.
The fingertips lead. Go.
So it's. I don't know if I've got the right muscles for this.
Well, a lot of people don't like it. You seem to be using your wrist a lot. you know.
Okay.
Well, when I hook, I'm just doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
So you've got now half a chance of. So you've not gone into full hook, but that's great. That's
Yeah.
allowing you. Can you feel the tension there? So now
I
I'm allowing
can,
you.
yeah.
Now you can take me. Okay. And the good thing about that is you don't have to pronate on me. This body can move me.
Yeah, that feels a
Yeah.
lot easier to get it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Hook science. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. I remember when I first started getting into arm wrestling, and it was yeah, there was a lot of words people were using, and I still don't understand those.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys get technical with me, and I don't understand everything they're talking about. I'm more of a doer.
Yeah.
So I noticed. I was very pleased to say that I saw a bee going into my bug hotel there before.
Oh.
So it's good. It's for stationary bee. It's for solitary bees. Those bamboo things. You know if they're laying eggs because you can see the little parcels of leaves in there.
Oh.
So what they do is they'll lay an egg, put a neat little parcel of leaf in front of it, lay another egg, another little leaf, and then so it's just filled down the pipe.
Yeah.
Okay, so good. So once you're into a hook, see if you force my hook. Force. Force it up.
Up. Yeah.
Imagine you're wringing all the water out of that towel.
Okay.
I mean, I often tell people, imagine you've got a light bulb above you that you're trying to turn, but it's not entirely true because it will take your hand down with on a journey, won't it? Look, so cut. It's like this. Everything's closing up your arm.
Is it trying to drive this in?
It's trying to close everything nearer to you.
Okay.
Everything comes in. You don't need to push your shoulder. It pulls your shoulder forwards.
Okay.
Because you'll get used to everything tightening up. So the idea is that you go in, and now you can pull more weight on it because you're nice and tight. Try not to push. Yeah. Here you are. No. So, I mean, I could try. That's called a high hook when you're almost sitting on top of it. You can actually do a high hook that's very effective if you can get the other guy back.
Yeah.
Then you can actually do it and just keeps and
Yeah.
you can almost pull more weirdly. You can actually pull more weight when you're not right on top of your own arm.
Yeah.
Because if you're on top of your own arm, you're basically
I mean, it's leverages.
you're in your own way.
If you could just freeze all of this, you
Oh,
could stand
yeah.
way back here and.
Yeah, have you ever seen guys? They'll literally get a strap for training. So that
They'll strap this bit. Oh.
to make it harder for their opponent.
Okay.
So that the other guy needs to practice one thing. He can't open him up at all.
Yeah.
So he's got to, So it's really good for. It's not for the guy with the strap. It's for the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really feeling that in my bicep when I'm trying to.
Good.
bring it in here.
Yeah, so bring it in and up to the middle. So you've got to be thinking,
Okay.
you bring it to you and into your side preferably.
Yeah.
And if this stays still, let everything, your shoulder only comes forwards because this is pulled forwards by what's happening in here.
Yeah.
You don't want to just move forwards because that's actually a loose, useless movement.
Okay.
If I was to just come forwards like this,
Yeah.
I'm locking into the bone, which actually is actually some people do even Devon Lauer, Tom Holland, a lot of people will come into it like this.
Yeah.
But they've now put their bicep entirely out of the equation, and it's entirely locked on the bone and the tendon. And then it's side pressure only. I like to engage a little bit of bicep because it gives me more options, you know.
Yeah.
You want to use a bit of bicep, you know. If you're not using any bicep at all, the other guy, all he needs to do is pull you out of it, and because you haven't deployed your bicep yet, he'll open you up.
Yeah.
So if he catches you out, typical thing is when he presses you. So what I would say is, don't fully lock in to a compressed position, because what will happen is it's very easy once the other guy gets the angle on you to open you up. Whereas if you're applying your bicep, you'll get used to keeping some muscular connection going. You're much more likely to last the match. You know? Okay. And actually it means that if the other guy does get you out of shape, you've got an option to say top roll out of him.
Yeah.
Other things. Yeah.
Okay.
A bit of left.
Yeah, let's. Cool. Getting it.
Yeah, it'd be good. Maybe next. Well, we'll see what's happening. But we need more guys of your height to arm wrestle against each other.
I don't know. There seem to be a few people in the chat.
Oh, we've got like 40 odd people in the chat, but that's not the point.
My sister wants to come.
She can, absolutely.
I think she'd be really good.
Well, we've got. There's a lady from I think. Well, Charlotte. I think she's in the London team officially, but she's on our chat group, and it would really be great to have more women from London actually involved, because most of the women are up north.
Yeah. What are the teams like? Because when I was trying to find how to pursue this as a hobby, I mean, I messaged you and
The London team is based near the Docklands.
Yeah, I sent them a message, and I sent the gym they go to a message, and I got no replies.
The Peacock Gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the gym's just a boxing club. I mean, it's not a arm wrestling club.
Yeah, I sent them an email saying, "Do you still do arm wrestling here?" They never replied. And then
I can talk to Gennady whether he's still. I don't think he's. I think there's another guy who's. There's the guy who's organising the competitions. He's on our chat group.
Okay.
God, what's his name?
I was just wondering what kind of
Unterrible names.
the picture looks like.
I don't know how. I've never been to their club, you know, and I don't know how they operate.
Yeah.
A number of years ago, they used to be quite an organised club. They changed it. The organisers changed over the years. In fact, it was started by Arthur Dolov, who is a lovely guy from the Czech Republic, I think. From Czech. Something like that. I don't want to get that one. But anyway, the point is that Arthur, he started the London group team in his garden or something like that, and then they ended up at a gym, and then now they're at Peacock Gym. But it's changed hands, and originally it was always the professionals from Europe who were Eastern Europe.
Okay.
So it wasn't really a club for you to start at.
Begins, yeah.
In fact, you go there now, you probably struggle with all of them.
Yeah.
You know? So it's not necessarily the best thing. But great fun, I imagine. The best training team, other than us, is probably the Slough Slammers.
Okay.
Because they've got a breadth of people from amateurs to pros, and they've got the number one guy in the country. Well, I say the number one. Tom Holland is number one on the left, and on the right he came like second. And he weighs like 90 kilos, and he beat all the super heavies. So, you know,
So for us, yeah.
What's he called? Mendorgus is the guy who's the super heavy champion. Beat him. Yeah, he's amazing. Other than that, there's clubs in Brighton. There's clubs over in Birmingham Bullets. They're great. The Milton Keynes, I should mention. If you on our group, Corey Candace, if you look up Corey, he's great. We should probably organise another trip up to them, but because it's straight up the M1. But Corey, they're lovely guys, you know, and even though they're all monsters, I don't think they've got any weak guys. They're very patient. They're not going to just deliberately tear you arm off or anything like that. Corey is going to always he's very generous with his time. Actually, Corey, I think the problem he finds is that he does often if he wants to train on the weekends, a lot of the other guys they'll train during the week. So a lot of the guys at the Milton Keynes club he can't train with. So it's sometimes he'll come all the way down here so he can get some training done. So I'm quite proud of that. There's a lot of guys who do see our club as a way to, because I'm accommodating. There's no day in the week I'm not willing to train. You know, I mean within reason. Usually I haven't been knackering my fingers in town and getting heat stroke. So I would have been feeling a lot better. Kind of grateful it's only you today because usually I'll put everything into it, but I'm really sore. It's one place though, so
is it more your right or?
I think it's both. Yeah.
Okay.
Just see where you're going. So go for it. So do that. Yeah. So you're going to have to find a way of taking me on a journey.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's no point in just taking my hand immediately.
Yeah.
Because I'm still on my side.
Okay. So
I've got all my power and you haven't.
Yeah.
You know, all I have to do is that. So what you do, you need to take that on the journey in order to then open me up.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're trying to open the other guy's arm up.
Yeah.
It's not about just his hand. If you open his hand up and he's on his side, then it's like, great, I got his hand, and now what the fuck am I going to do? You know? Yeah. Everyone who beats me by taking my hand, they've usually taken my arm a little bit as well first.
Yeah.
So it's not as simple as just taking my hand.
Okay.
So move all of this back. That's better. Now you got on the hand, you should be able to. That's nice. Yes. Felt horrible. That's great. Nice. That's fine. I'm in bits. There, go for it. Yeah, nice. Oh no. So you need to just sort of a bit more fingers.
Okay. More fingers.
So, yeah, you weren't going anywhere like that. So again, fingertips. Keep your height. Keep some nice shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I tell you what, your body position's 100% better.
Okay.
Last week when you came along, it's like you were.
Yeah, I kept on trying to get some leverage out so
yeah.
I could use my body weight, which obviously isn't a good idea.
I mean, it's not often people have such a stupid little arm they have to go against. So go.
Okay.
Lead from the fingers. There you go. Lead from the fingers. That's it. Bring me over. That's better. And so you're gonna. All I had to do is post on that. So as soon as you start pushing down, I can take more weight than you.
Okay.
In fact, I can probably open you up from that position.
Okay.
So you don't want to be. As soon as you go into a pushing position, like sideways, so you're trying to finish me off.
Okay.
You're pushing as much weight as you can push.
But I still.
So all I have to do is apply a little bit of pressure, and it's overloading what you're capable of pushing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's the old cars, you know. Whether you like it or not, I add anything to it, and it is adding to the sum. You know, the equilibrium is broken. So it's the same conversation about the marbles. You know. So I mean, a good example, right? So if I was to, let's say this is an object, so I'm going to lift it up. Let's say that weighs 1 kilo. How much do I need to pull to lift it off the table?
Well, you need to pull us
greater than 1 kilo. So if I pull 1 kilo, it's going nowhere.
Yeah.
Right. So if I might be just able to get it wobbling around a little bit. This is more like arm wrestling. But the trouble is, then all the other guy has to do is like tiny bit of weight, and I can't take it anymore. So generally pushing positions are exactly that problem.
Okay.
In pulling, you've got the ability to actually apply more than what you're currently putting on, with a little bit of application. You know, so. Yep. That's it. So I want to feel you pushing me down and then over. A good way of forcing the issue without having to use calories is this. So you go push and you feel it push. So you're pushing, yes, and then you put it over. It just uses less effort.
Yeah.
And also it helps to isolate the other guy's arm. It's controlling the other guy's arm.
I'm starting to get a lot more what people mean when they say like, oh, I'm attacking this guy. Yeah. I can feel it. Yeah.
Good. So go for it. That's better. Push down and pull over. Nice. That's better. Really, really push into it.
Okay.
You were being a bit polite there. So
Okay.
this is a contact sport. So go for it. Go push down. Nice. That's a lot better.
All right.
That's now it's feeling horrible. That's good.
Okay, so we should.
Right, it's good. It's good.
I mean, you need to recover.
Oh, I'm used to it. You know, it's fine.
Still. Oh no, if you recover then you can train harder and then you can get better faster.
Oh, that's fine. I'll get to, in all fairness, before competition I always make sure I'm properly rested. So, yeah, so I'm going to try and stop you.
Alright.
So, go.
Alright.
Yeah. So again, all you need to do is keep that.
Are you just pulling in?
I'm just pushing it.
Tightening. Okay.
I'm just pushing it. I'm
Just
opening
that.
it up. I'm just getting my cup in. That's all.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And again, if you get your cup, then you've got this really nice. The way I'm feeling that when I'm doing that to you is I'm imagining I'm having to hold myself off of a chin-up bar. So then, you're going to have to, you're going to have to make that nice shape of mine. So it just offers a barrier, as you can tell. There you go. Again, I'm just hanging off my arm. So,
I feel like I am too.
Yeah. Nice.
I don't know how I'm meant to get your arm closer to me though.
Well, it's that initial start.
Okay.
So the mistake you made is letting me get out.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, there are ways you can get around it. So potentially, if I'm out here, you could potentially get in on me and press into me, to get me back. Because when I'm out here, there is a little bit of flexibility.
I can.
You think a little bit? Everyone's like it. In fact, it would be even worse if the other guy's got long arms and he's doing what I'm doing. He's got even more that you can press into.
Also, what are you doing with your thumb? Because it is, Oh, you just squeeze really tight.
I'm opposing your pronation.
Okay.
So if you go into it, I'm just pulling. Can you see? I'm pulling over.
You're kind of pulling
Well,
in.
what I'm doing is exactly the same thing as if I'm hooking you over your wrist, but with my thumb. So see that? That's what I'm doing with my thumb. Imagine that's your thumb. You're going over the other guy's thumb with the outlet. So you're going over the other guy's thumb. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I'm going over. Just over. It's not about squeezing. It's about moving over your thumb.
So that would be opposing. That would be.
It's actually. It's a. It's a static thumb thing. It's not a squeeze. It's a block lift. In fact, I would argue probably all my block lift. The fact that I've got world record in Euro pinch probably helps. So again, if you were to try and top on me, go. Just on my block lift there. There's a little bit of pressure through there as well, so it's a combination. I'm trying not to use any effort. I'm trying to use just fingertips.
Okay, well, I can still feel it.
Then, you could reel me in and then disengage that.
Okay, I feel that bringing it more to my side. So is it...
Suddenly, that wrist strength helps. So there are reasons for it.
So I mean, it's bringing the fight to your side.
Always.
It's always about that.
If you let the other guy get you onto his side,
Yeah.
you're running out of options because you're having to really you've got to claw it back. You know, it's more ways than one. Yeah.
I feel every time whether it's just with friends or anything, I've always been on that side. How do is that just something I have to...
Yeah, I mean, there's things you can do. So literally, back pressure.
Yeah.
So back pressure is a compound thing. Back pressure is a combination of a row and a post.
Okay.
So back pressure is actually like that. Yeah. So
Okay.
I put back pressure on you there.
Yeah.
So on the start, because we're in the same place, you a bit of pressure there and a bit of pressure there. So pressure. Yeah. So now, if I was to go into you, opening myself up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
So I would have to lead through there. You see, I'm having to use my finger strength in order to having to get over. I'm having to thread the needle in one place. It just limits my options, you know. In which case, okay, on a high top wall that would beat you, but all you have to do is change the angle. Then I'm going to go all the way around here to open you up. You know,
so how much of that is instinct for you, and how much of it are you actually thinking about?
Oh, well, you never think about it.
I mean, I guess there's no time.
What you do is you follow what the other guy does, and you're looking for shapes.
Okay.
It develops as you go. So it develops every time you grip up.
So it's like a weird dance.
You have to, your hand has to have comfortable positions that it wants to slip into.
Okay. Because I found a lot of the time I was wanting to grab you lower because I felt maybe it's my...
Yeah, but if you grab me low there...
I mean, I know it's not helpful.
I've got something to go straight through your hand.
But I just feel like I've got a good grip
because
here.
it feels nice.
Yeah.
No, it's not good.
Okay.
No.
But it's, yeah.
Imagine if you were to take this, you know, then I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, if I grab low there, I'd have to, so you try and top load me, I'm to use entirely my row in order to control you.
Yeah.
So there is a technique where low grip helps, but at no point have you been doing that to me. You know? So if you grab me low, so now got the elbow here, now you're going to be pulling down through my arm, pulling down, right back, onto your side, and then you're going to pull on me, There you go, that's better. But it's the only way you can win from that position other than a complete hook.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I because of what you do to thumbs, I feel more comfortable there, just so that it...
Yeah, but you can avoid my thumb. You don't have to do that top wall.
How would I... You don't have to tell me because it's your thing, but what kind of things would I do to avoid, like... Because I feel your thumb is very hard to avoid with your pinching.
Well, the easiest thing to do is just to go around my wrist.
Okay.
Because then my thumb's not even in...
It's not engaging it.
If you're going...
Because I'm trying to resist.
Watch my thumb.
Yeah.
So if you go around my thumb, I can't use it.
Yeah.
You're literally going around my block. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm not using.
You're not squeezing it.
Yeah, I'm not using an active strength. I'm using a static strength. It's the very thing that allows me to do hop lifts.
Yeah.
You know. So if you're going around that, then I can't use it. So easiest thing to do is just when you grip up against someone, look at their hands and think, oh, okay, there's my weakness there. I think I'm gonna. There's the angle on
So
here.
when you look at this, what are you punching?
So I'm thinking you've got a nice angle. I've got a nice angle to open you up.
Okay.
You know, you're quite open already, so I can easily come over the bottom of your thumb and open you up that way. So there's little things you're showing me.
And what should I be thinking looking at this?
So firstly, you need to be thinking about opening me up.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't think about that. Think about this first, and then that at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. So line up the old birds on the fence there. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. So you're thinking about doing something to them. Yeah. Like lining them up on the cliff and then jump off. Okay. If you're losing your grip around there, then it's fine if you're going to be dragging me around, you know. drag me over, but you're not. You're going to be leading with your fingertips.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm picking some stuff up.
Yeah, it might be more useful on your right, because my left is not a good one to training against. It's a bit of a weird shaped arm.
Oh.
I can't hook, for instance. I can't put my hand up.
Really?
Literally as far as I can put my hand up.
How did
It's just a genetic problem I've got. Yeah, I mean, you know that everyone's got that.
Yeah.
I don't have it on that one.
Oh.
It's inside, so the bump, it's in there, but it's physically stuck between the bones.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the angles are all wrong for me to be able to move I can move my hands sideways.
Yeah.
So in other words, the place I'm supposed to be able to do is that way.
Yeah.
Useless.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's why I never compete on the left. I can teach you a few things on the left. I'm okay defensively on that. I'm good at making it painful for the other guy.
Yeah.
Go for it. So again, you need to sort of post.
Okay.
Yeah. Go.
I'm just wondering. It's that thumb, like it's uncomfortable for me in that position, and I'm just trying to work out. Yeah. I was trying to slip through.
I could do a thumbless. I could do a thumbless grip like that.
I was just
That,
curious.
if I do that, let's see what happens. See if we can encourage some shape. Can we go for it?
It's that.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Oh yeah. See, without my thumb,
Yeah.
A lot of guys would be able to win like that. Something I need to improve on actually. That power.
It's a good thing you've got your thumb done.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, I've got something that I can at least use with thumb. I say I've got my thumb. It's about 50% today.
Well, it's yeah.
You should feel my.
I don't think I want to.
It's the feeling when I'm actually well rested.
I definitely don't want to.
Yeah, because I've got an injured thumb both handed now. So, yeah. Nice. Try and push.
Okay.
Yeah, really, you're looking here only. Look at this whole shape.
Yeah.
You're trying to break this shape.
Okay.
Okay. So think about that. So when I'm looking in, I'm thinking like that, and then you know. So it's not just your hand.
Yeah.
The fact is, if someone really squeezes my hand, it's like great, thank you very much. You know, so you know, sometimes don't give away what your whole plan is. Just give up. Okay. Just sort of don't. Yeah. So keep it nice. So. Yeah, so don't give it all away. Yep, and then now do something. Go for it. Pulling up rather than back. Okay.
I mean, I feel like I'm. Is this the thing, or am I okay? And then there, and then take it from there.
Yeah, you've got to lead from the end. Okay. If you're gonna be taking me on a trip, the only other, like I said, the only way you can avoid it is by physically pushing down into my arm.
Yeah.
And I would argue, personally, it takes a lot less effort to push down into the other guy's arm than it does to pull a lot of weight through the fingertips. Some guys would be, let's say, that's Bubby. Yep. So you've seen him mentioned on our thing.
Yeah.
So he's got the world's strongest cup on record.
Okay.
Wrist cup. You know. So basically, he could curl me in and then
go.
Yeah. But he doesn't need to push down. And I would argue he's got a short arm, so he not necessarily can always do that. So he's had to learn to be very, very strong. You've got a nice long arm. You've got the angle on me that you can just simply push down without having to use any power at all, and then you know. So that's a compound motion. Pull and you pull as you push down. Pull as you push down. It's got to be one series of horrible things. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like a machine. It'd be well. Yeah. So go. Push down. No, you didn't push.
Oh, down.
Down like this.
Like
you're gonna open me up. Yeah. So physically lean forwards into my hand.
Okay.
So if you lean forwards and close that up, I'm being opened up, and that whole thing is then going on the journey.
Okay.
So it goes. So it's better. Now take me on a journey. It's got to all happen at once. It's got to be a beautiful sort of dance of
Okay.
actions. Yes.
Alright. Oh.
I'm not very good at it. But literally, it's this.
Yeah. Okay. I think I feel you coming in.
Yeah. Get into your hand. You know where your hand wants to be as well now. Yeah.
I'm getting.
Yeah. Now you know what you want to do, so
Yeah.
you put your hand in a position where it's easy to do it. Okay. That's better. It's easier to chop down into something.
Yeah.
If my hand's already down, I'm hitting your bone.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I noticed that.
Yeah. If I'm here, I've got something.
Yeah. There's a bit of leverage.
You're a soft organic shape. I've got something to press down into.
Yeah.
Again, this tail. I've got easy. If I had a good top roll, I've got easy target. So just keep up, square up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Just if you think about this, it's a very difficult shape for the other guy to beat.
Okay.
Yep. And it's very easy for you to turn that into something.
So what am I doing?
Well, you tend to kind of be down here somewhere.
Okay. So trying
just
to stay as high as I can.
Yeah, on the setup, and then you're bringing him to you
Okay.
on the setup. And then he's going to straighten the wrists up. So remember, you don't want this other guy to have an easy target on
Yeah.
your hand there.
So how do I stop that? Just by keep on.
That you want the target to be over there somewhere.
Okay.
Because
so
then I can't push you over there. I can push you over here.
Yeah.
So if you're there, I can beat you. If you're there, I can't.
Okay.
It's like that much.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Oh,
Centimetre between defeat and win.
Okay. I think I get it a bit more.
Yeah, you never see me drop that low that you can give me an angle.
Yeah.
So if I'm up here, you're going to have to go all the way around here to open me up.
Mm.
Okay, good. There's no fingertip pressure there, do you?
Okay.
That's it. No, you're applying, you're using my thumb.
Yeah.
Use you imagine that.
Yeah.
Let's do it thumbless, right?
Alright.
So, do that. Good practice. So up to the middle, set up properly, straight hand, post up, over the middle of the spot. Yep, perfect. Okay. So now if I'm going into you, so it's I have to do one shape. So same thing for you. Go in. It's better. Can you feel where you need the pressure?
Yeah, it's
It's got to be up there. Otherwise, it's not going
Okay.
to work. Yeah. So same thing. That's a little bit better. Push down in. No, you're taking me too early.
okay.
Gotta go. It's gotta go over.
All right.
There. There. Yep. Hey, take that automatically. It's low grip.
Sorry.
You're below here.
Yeah.
Just grip the other guy's hand.
Okay.
Grip my hand, not the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
Please, thank you. Start up here so that you can go down there.
Yeah.
Up here so that you've got to have that movement.
Yeah.
If you're down here, you've got your
Yeah,
own.
not much.
You can only do that through power. You don't want to have to use power. You want to use both power and movement
Yeah.
down to there. So you see the little movement down through my hand. That's going to open me up.
Yeah.
You don't want to be going over here,
Okay. So I'm always resisting anything that's moving my hands.
so you can come
That
up.
way.
You want to give yourself a way to. It's not so much about your hand; it's more about his hand and how you're going to cut him up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So up, so you can take it down. Okay.
Should we try and
Just grab. Okay, easiest way to see it is try and grip above my wrist.
Yeah.
So you've got something, and if that's square out here, you feel the space there?
Yeah.
Yeah? Then you've got something on the go to close up.
Okay.
If you've got full contact there, you've got nothing to close up. So imagine you've got like a rock in your hand. Square up. That's legal, yep.
Mhm.
Perfect. Now you've got something to cut into.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Square.
and then when we start, because
Yeah. It's the old crumple zone, you know.
Yeah.
You've got somewhere to go.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Getting really low, there's no space
I
there.
mean,
I should be able to get my finger in there. There you
so
go.
okay.
Better. Cover your thumb. Oh, so we're doing thumbs, aren't we? Oh, yeah. Right. Okay, go for it. Beat me. Go.
Okay, I'm gonna go really slow and light and
yeah.
talk me through it.
So down, press down.
Am I pressing
Forwards and down, and this is all coming back. Yeah, so go for it. That's nice. That's good. That is really good. That's beautiful. You can do that again.
Yeah.
Don't start in the position you're going to.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a target. So go. That's better. It's all right. You kind of maybe ran out of space a bit there, but that's good. Okay, so no thumbs.
Okay. I mean, if I try and go high, then it's I think I get the crumple thing.
Square hand.
Because if I leave the crumple zone, I can have my.
If I'm all tight up here, I can't push into you. If I'm here, I've got something to go into. Yeah. Nice round hand. Yeah. The only place you get a completely flat hand is on the highest of setups for a high top roll. So for a high top roll, I would do flat top here, and then it's literally this way. Okay. But we're not doing that today. Yeah. That's for people who have trained side pressure and all sorts. Again, you're really low. I don't want you to present your hand to me.
I'm trying to work out where I can have this that doesn't cover my thumb.
It doesn't cover your thumb?
Well, the thumb knuckle.
Grip on that grip and then your thumb out of your knee.
Okay.
I tend to grip up and then it's like all the left knee to show you that.
But I mean, for example, I can't get my thumb further out because it's not.
Well, you can do a very easy thing. You can lift your thumb up and then you can bring your hand up to meet it. Okay. And then you've got your hand in a better place and your thumb.
So I'm just using my fingers to
change your hand shape. That's stronger position.
Okay.
That's stronger. Look, you've got your cup, you've got the angle on me, you've got the gap. Beautiful setup. Beautiful. You can beat me from that position.
A bit more sense.
Yeah, good. Go for it. Beat me. Go. Good. That's better. That's better. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, starting to make a bit more sense.
Good.
I'm trying to forget some things that I started off badly with.
It's alright. I mean, it's a bit like driving. I learnt some bad habits and then made sure before I took my test that I'd unlearnt them. I still need to publish. I mean, I need to publish the whole lot from last week.
Yeah, I'm worried I'm standing in front of the camera for a few of them.
No, I'm only gonna keep the bits where we can see stuff.
Okay, good.
I mean, I took a lot of footage. Yeah. Make sure it's not overheated. I'm curious to know if I had the actual. So
what kind of exercises? I mean, I haven't really done any kind of thing outside of this. I bought some kind of.
Well, the easiest thing is the old towels.
Yeah, I did
kettlebells. So I do for my defence. I do a fly.
Okay.
With a kettlebell. And it just it helps give a bit of stability in my shoulder.
Okay.
And I don't swing it. I literally.
Yeah.
And you know that if that's going up easily and it's not using it's not grabbing my lats too much. I know that I've got a good strength, good control, and that really helps. I don't know about the physics of it, but you could even put a kettlebell sideways and just sort of.
I don't have any kettlebells. I've really just bought some elastic.
Great, yeah. Elastic, you can do exactly the same thing.
I've just been...
Put your feet on it. Put it against a banister.
Okay.
Try and get these tight shapes. Power through smaller movements. Yeah, and then the old hook shapes. You can do a lot on bands.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do a lot.
Is it? Are you pulling in like this and?
Yeah. Ultimately you need to feel as if you've got a elbow position that you're leaving off of.
Okay.
Typically, a lot of guys they'll do these things on their chest, which is like, when are you ever going to do that from? I'm never going to be doing that from an arm wrestling table.
Yeah.
It's up here.
Yeah.
You know? So try and simulate what you're going to have on an arm wrestling table. You know.
Yeah.
Alright, so you know what, a few nasty tricks now, so I'm going to have to use a bit of my hand towel, a bit of my cupping bath. Go for it, yep.
I feel as soon as you started, I felt it was hard for me to pull.
Oh,
just
okay.
because I was already.
I was sore, that was quite painful for me.
Okay.
No, I'm not, it doesn't mean I'm going to stop, I mean, I don't want to do it.
I'm just curious.
Yeah. So I'm just got a nice angle on you there. So you want your angle to be over there.
Okay.
Yeah. See what I mean? All I did was pick an angle.
Yeah. It's just gonna take me a bit to catch.
Yeah. Look at that hand. So all I have to do is pull through that.
And how do I?
You want to get it so that I can only pull up here rather than down there. Currently, I've got a really nice little arc between my fingertips and the pad, just from your hand position that you've given me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas if you get me into a position where the arc is all the way around here, then suddenly I'm going to be opening myself up, aren't I?
Yeah.
And I'll have to do something in order to open up.
Posting.
Yeah. So it's just changing little tricks. The more times you do it, the more you'll get used to little tricks. So don't worry about one particular thing. I think the more times you grip up, you're going to get more ideas. And even if you fail potentially you could fail from every angle, but every single thing can be improved. To which case, in a few weeks you'll be thrashing me enough. A bit like Marchant, right? So Marchant Steenkamp, he turned up and couldn't connect, and now I'm really struggling with him, because there's not an angle where he can't connect, and I'm really happy about that, Okay. So it's just about sort of, and it's not like he's going into massively different positions early on. It's just he's able to apply it. You see the amount of space I've got under my hand?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've got loads of room to close your eye.
Okay, but don't I also have something?
Well, yeah, but you're not cutting it. Your gap is where you're going into. You're going into space under my hand.
Yeah.
You want that space to go into my hand. So the space under my hand at the moment is going to be going into you.
Okay.
You want that space to go into me.
Okay, so if you're trying to do that, should I be trying to come in?
All I'm trying to do is, it sounds daft, but for me the simplest angle is that.
Yeah.
And trying to keep a square tension here, because it means I can close that gap up,
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get a nice true angle. The other guy is trying to mess that up, and you should mess that up. Look at this really negative wrist. I want this to be strong. See, that feels better.
All right.
Yeah, that's much better. Yeah. You don't have to put any pressure on the setup, by the way.
Okay.
You're putting pressure on. If you put pressure on, then all I have to do is put pressure on your pressure, and you open up.
Okay.
In fact, if you put pressure somewhere, so now I know where to beat you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pressure somewhere. Yeah. So you don't put pressure. Well, it's better to force your strong shape so you've got somewhere to go.
Okay.
Yeah. So, did you want to do any lifting?
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So no. So you need to get it into a position where your hand is neutral, not wrapped. Yeah, neutral, exactly. Yeah, man. See what I mean? I can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what an 8-inch hand can do. Well done. So my brother was a 200 kilo lifter at 56 kilo body weight.
Damn.
And I've seen him repping 180, and I can't do it. I can't do deadlift. I do axle deadlift. I've won gold medals on, but that's hardly any weight. It's just because it's a really thick bar. My brother, you know, he's a real little monster. He's great. I mean, he's the one who got me into weights because I was always lazy. I was just like listening to music and going fishing.
Yeah.
And then he got me into it. So yeah. Oh, my poor thumb. Yeah. So you can feel where I'm putting. Yeah. Go. Oh, you see, I got my thumb out of that because I was too uncomfortable. I had to dump my thumb.
Yeah.
My thumb's hurting too much.
Okay.
So no, but you could feel me adjust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a way we can do it that doesn't hurt your thumb?
Yeah, I just get my thumb out.
Oh, okay. Easy enough.
No, I've got that. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm sorting. I'll worry about me. Don't.
Yeah.
Go. Whoa. Yeah. Oh, nasty. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've got an F.
Yeah.
That's painful.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry. Look, you know, it's all good. So you go whenever you want. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Try to be easier on your thumb and keep it in your fingers.
Yeah, I'm not going in. Oh no, we've got it.
Got it.
You let me go a little higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, go. I got you.
I feel if
Sorry?
I feel that's gonna. Oh, okay, no, my wrist went
Took
back.
a slip.
Yeah.
Ow, let's see, left. I think I'm nearly done now.
Fair enough.
Oh, you know the lifting really changes stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, I should get over to lift things.
When we were arm wrestling before, I had no pain here.
Yeah.
Now after the singing bowl, I'm really feeling it there.
Yeah.
It makes me think that I should do the singing bowl more often.
What is that? What muscle is that? I mean, what is that working?
I'm sure people in the club can tell me what muscle it is.
I mean, well, what does it do?
That's technical.
I mean,
all I know is that the fact that that really tore up my arm means I should be doing that more often.
Because I've always tried to work out kind of what muscles are doing what movements, but when it comes to the hands, I just
I'm not very technical. Considering I was originally going to be a scientist, I'm rubbish at names. It's a good thing I didn't. Yeah. Oh, you got a good grip. Oh, I've got no thumb at all.
It's nice. You're not breaking my thumb.
I can't at the moment.
Which I would appreciate.
You're very grateful for the fact that I can't. It's amazing how crap I am once I lose my thumb. Though.
It's impressive how powerful your thumb is.
Yeah, well, you know, it's good to be strong at something. Go. Oh, I'm gonna slip. I don't think I can beat you at the moment. I don't think I can.
I mean,
without my thumbs, I'm pretty weak.
I mean, I've just been trying to pull back into kind of that, and I feel.
I think that I don't think the grip and this add up to me winning.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could try and hook into you, but no, it's great. It's great that you actually.
We could try a hook, if I remember.
Well, I can't hook, so you could try and hook into me.
Yeah.
So try and hook. Yeah, that's nice.
Oh yeah, I really feel connected there.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Bring that back. Oh wow, I think it's quite nice.
Yeah. Well, you need to get into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Yeah. Go. I just don't want to do that. Hurts too much. I'm done.
Fair enough. I don't think I've got much of these either.
No.
That was. Thank you.
You're
That
welcome.
was.
So just make sure you've got room.
I don't know. I think that break doing that helped me kind of soften the technique.
It's a good way of warming down. So just one arm. Put up. Yep. Because I've got my arm, once the thumbs go, it's like I can't use it. Thanks for your time, I really appreciate it. It's alright.
I mean, I'm sure I got a lot more out of this than you got, but...
Oh no, I got no doubt, okay. I feel like I've actually not wasted my day, you know.
Ah, well, that's good. I was a bit worried when I got here. I was like, I have misread the chat, and when he said, actually I'm a bit sore, I was like, oh, maybe he'll just be... Yeah, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, good feeling during the week, I tell you. But,
I mean, do you do weekday sessions? Because I'm
Yeah.
just working in a bar, so
I do, yeah.
for a amount of availability most of the time.
Tonight I messaged John Savoy, who is former British champion, who is now able to train with us occasionally.